Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. We certainly are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, but it's the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then to the socialist. What a wonderful day in the neighborhood, a wonderful day indeed. Had the opportunity of spending time with my beloved fam, of course, Shannon and Michael Wright, The Right Way. You may have heard me this morning on their program, celebrating with them over 5,000 listens, both download and plays on SHR Media alone. They are the fastest growing show on our network, and we're very, very proud of the work that they do and the substance that they put on a daily basis to inspire people to become conservatives who live out loud in urban America. So congratulations to the great folk up in Bmore, Shannon Wright, Michael Wright, The Right Way. You hear them in the mornings at 7:05 a.m. to 9 p.m. right before the Willie Lawson show. So dig in, folk, and enjoy their wonderful program. I want to also welcome all those who are coming into the chat room at this particular time period. We have a big show tonight. What if I told you that a second chance was available to you? What if I told you that you didn't have to live the way you're living, that there is hope, and that hope is eternal? Marty Angelo was one of America's pioneer broadcasting agents and performers, well, during the disco period. And Marty was living the high life. Unfortunately, with all high lives, there's a crash and a burn. What you do with the crash and burn speaks more about the hope that lies within you than anything else. Tonight, Marty Angelo will be joining us, and we'll be talking about his revolution of mind, moving from being a radical liberal to being an ultra conservative, but more importantly, during that particular move to Christian conservatism, learning that there's hope even for the most addicted amongst us. So glad to have you all here tonight. Big, big night. Listen, I want to check out that chat room right now. Mary Brockman's up in that camp. Mary, love you dearly. And of course, I'm there. Perry Drake is there. Thank you so much for being here. Perry Drake had a show earlier today at 10 a.m. Welcome, Perry. It was nice of Jeffrey to contact you. There you go. All right. Absolutely wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking with Marty Angelo in just a little bit. You also know, ladies and gentlemen, that on a night like this is Tuesday night, two big things are happening on SHR Media. The first of which happens to be Janis Hall, the J Hall World Report at 10 p.m. We will be talking with her about a lot of the issues that are happening around the world. And she's going to bring that stuff from the high, lofty ivory towers to the actual kitchen table for all of us to understand. And later on, in fact, later on, tonight is Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Berserk Bobcat Saloon with Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. Yes, BZ will be live on SHR Media at 11 p.m. So stay tuned for that. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we kick this particular thing off. You know how we rock and we roll. We let our children lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We ask that you put your right hand over your heart. Find a flag right behind you, like this one right here. Or if you're watching via live stream, whoop, that big one right there. I want to thank the good people of Red Nation Rising and as well SHR Media for carrying us live. And we're looking for a wonderful conversation with none other than Marty Angelo. Stay tuned, people. Put your hand over your heart. Let us pledge allegiance to the United States of America. Make it very simple, people. Lead us away, kids.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Woo! There you go, kiddies. Amen, kiddies. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we want to pick up on the line our guest for this particular evening, a man who has lived the very heights of life.
I can't be here to answer the call, but if you'd leave your name and number at the sound of the tone, I'll get back to you.
Okay, all right. Not there. We will try back a little bit later. We will try back a little bit later. All right. I tell you what we'll do in the meantime. We will take our commercial break early for those who are following us along the lines. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. When we come back, we will attempt again to contact Marty Angelo.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
So what do you think about ebooks? Maybe you've never read an ebook before, but you're considering giving it a try. Or maybe you've been reluctant to try ebooks because you don't want to buy another expensive electronic device. Or maybe you already enjoy ebooks, but you haven't been able to find titles from your favorite Christian authors. Whatever your situation, ChristianBook.com has the solution. Your trusted source for print books for over 30 years now offers ebooks. Our always free CBD reader allows you to read on the devices you already own without spending money on a new device. Thousands of Christian ebooks at ChristianBook.com means you can shop with confidence and choose from the titles you want. Plus, we are adding new titles all the time. Browse our huge selection of low-priced Christian ebooks the same way you would printed books, only now you can go from shopping to reading in seconds. Simply select the ebook you wish to purchase, confirm your account information, and start reading. Free samples of every ebook are available, so you can preview the book first, before you buy it. Plus, there's no lengthy app downloads and updates. Accessing the CBD Reader is as easy as going to cbdreader.christianbook.com and bookmarking the page. The CBD Reader holds your ebooks and bookmarks for you, no matter what device you're on. So, you can take your entire ebook library wherever you go and pick up right where you left off. Our customizable options make it possible to read your ebooks in different font sizes and styles. Want a large print version? You've got it in seconds with a simple click of the mouse. Already own a dedicated e-reader? Download your ebooks to your computer from your ChristianBook.com account and transfer them to your device. Try ebooks at ChristianBook.com and start reading your favorite books in seconds. Easy, economical, everywhere you want to read. Welcome to ChristianBook.com ebooks.
Meet Jason. The bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR Media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Coming soon to articles near you. Excelsior.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. We certainly are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, but it is the power of liberation. First the Republicans and the Socialists. I want to thank Mary Brockman for saving the day. Mary, love you dearly. Thank you for letting me know that there was a problem with SHR, with Spreaker. That was my fault, not SHR's fault. Forgot to press a button. I thought I had, but apparently I had not. And so I apologize for all those who are just coming on live from SHR Media. We've done the Pledge of Allegiance, forgive me, but we're ready to rock and roll. Let us attempt to once more get in contact with Marty Angelo. 1 ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingy, 3 ringy dingy.
Hello.
Good evening. This is Ken McClinton. You are live on the Exceptional Conservative Show. Mr. Angelo.
Yes, sir. Hi, Kevin. How you doing, man?
Just fine. It is so good to have you on our air this particular evening out of Washington, D.C. Listen, you have had a wonderful life, a tremendous life. And there's some people who have lived full lives who have never had even a quarter of what you've gone through. And I wanted everyone to hear you tonight. First and foremost, you are a staunch Christian conservative. Am I correct in that regard?
Yeah, I never was all my life. I mean, it wasn't until I became a Christian that I became a conservative. Prior to that, I was as radical liberal as you could be. I mean, I was a member of the Student for Just Democratic Society back in the 60s, demonstrating against the war in Vietnam. I'm just like some of these kids that are out there right now demonstrating against. I don't know what they're demonstrating against, but you know, they don't like Donald Trump and all. And Hillary lost, but I mean, they're out there with no purpose. I mean, back in the 60s, we had a purpose. We didn't want to go to the war. None of us wanted to get drafted.
Yeah.
And you know, so that gave us some purpose. But I didn't know what liberalism was, and I was taught by my professors, just like they're teaching now. That hasn't changed. We were told to protest the war. When I came out of high school, I was just kind of a naive kid. By the time I got into college, they liberalized me, man. I was as radical as could be. I booked bands for the Chicago 7, Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, Bobby Seale. I had Grateful Dead and the Jefferson Airplane come to town while they spoke on campus. And our professors gave us pot, made signs for us, had us protest out on the compound. And so that's the lifestyle I moved into, and I didn't know how to get out of it.
Wow. So
until I became a Christian at the age of 35.
Wow. So between 18 and 35, those 17 years, you lived a life of luxury and success like few people in America ever have.
Yeah, I guess you know, I had that success before I don't know how happy I was. I was a pretty miserable guy. I never smiled much. I never had any purpose. Never knew. Nothing mattered to me. I thought, you know, well, gosh, maybe if I just become more successful and make more money and live in a bigger house or get a bigger car and go out with a prettier woman, maybe that will make me happy. And none of it did. Nothing. I was empty, just so empty. I tried to kill myself a few times. I just could not get a grasp on reality. I was high all the time, or drunk. I was traveling with rock stars around the world, producing television shows, promoting movies and records. And I mean, I had a life that a lot of these kids out, these celebrities, new celebrities now in Hollywood that I try to help. I try to reach out to them, but they're going through the same pains that we did back in the 60s. And prior to that, there wasn't much drug use, man. There was, I mean, I remember in high school, nobody smoked pot when I was in high school, not even pot. And cigarettes and drank beer.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's come a long, long, long way. And our generation, the Woodstock generation, the hippie generation, and the milk generation, we're the front runners to what's going on today, and it's only gotten worse.
Exactly. Exactly. We're talking tonight.
I feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the lifestyle, you think generations will grow out of it from watching previous generations and their failures in it, but they seem more enticed by that lifestyle more than ever before. And there is a lifestyle that leads certainly unto death. We're talking this evening with a entertainment uh, guru and actual superstar per se, Marty Angelo, who was in the entertainment business from 1965 to 1980. And whether it was the American Bandstand or disco or whatever, his hand was in it. And a lot of people say, Marty, dude, you had the perfect life, dude. I mean, you you making money hand over fist. I, and what's wrong with drugs? I mean, you got to take a few every once in a while, right?
Well, yeah, well, few isn't enough. Few was never enough. I mean, that's the problem with addiction. Some people think it's a disease. I think it's a sin problem.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem of that is that the more you take, the more addicted you are to it. I mean, I can't clump it in there with cancer, which a lot of people try to do because the insurance companies are now paying for rehab. Back in my day, they didn't have rehab.
Yeah.
You went to an AA meeting maybe, or you died. Well, you got arrested, which is what happened to me. And I'm thankful that I got arrested and didn't die.
What?
Because most of my friends died.
What? Wait a minute. Are you saying, Marty, are you saying to us tonight from coast to coast around the world that you are happy that you got arrested? In an age where people fight the police, you're saying that you were happy to be arrested. Why so?
Well, I honestly could not find any purpose for my life. And so by getting arrested stopped me, an involuntary stoppage. It was an unplanned bottom. Again, I mean, when I played, when I managed these bands, I mean, we used to pay the police to protect us.
Yeah.
We would be backstage getting high, and drug dealers were coming in left and right, and the cops were protecting us. So when I wound up getting arrested down in Miami, it was a rude awakening. They threw me in the jail cell with about 50 other people, and I said, "Look, I'm not supposed to be in here. I'm in the music business." And and the jailer said, "Shut up, lay down in that bunk and be quiet. Tell it to the judge in the morning. You're in jail, buddy." And so that made me stop. I couldn't leave. My freedom was gone, and it's hard, when you tumble from a successful lifestyle. I really wasn't a drug dealer. I mean, I might have bought ounces of cocaine and split them with my friends, but none of us were out there in the streets dealing like people deal nowadays.
Yeah. And
so that was a perk. We had the perks. That was the payoff for being in the entertainment business. You got this expensive cocaine and heroin and everything else we did. And so, how do you stop that lifestyle? My sister was a Christian. She was a Christian for about 2 years, and she started reaching out to me and sending me all sorts of tracts and literature and letters, and I didn't listen to her, and I said that I thought she lost her mind. And I said, "Wait, I'm making more money now than I've ever made in my life, and you want me to stop?
Yeah.
Become like a Jesus freak?" Because my idea of a Jesus freak was just a kind of a hippie-looking guy with a beard with a sign, repent and passing out Bibles. And I said, "I can't do that. How am I going to make a living at that?"
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how stupid I was, because I should have listened to her when she was getting serious with me, but I had to go down this road. And listen, man, everybody has to go down this road. That's why I have to have compassion for these kids that are out there doing the same stuff. That lifestyle is not going to get any better for them. Yeah. Those kids that are out there with their masks on and they won't show their face. God has a plan and purpose for each and every one of those people. And he's going to take you down a road, and he's going to allow you enough rope to hang yourself. And one of these days, something's going to happen. There won't be that big old group of college kids around you with their masks on and throwing stairs through windows, and you're going to be facing consequences.
Yeah.
See, they don't understand the consequences. My generation, 4 kids got shot by the National Guard at Kent State University. Those were consequences. I mean, it kind of woke us all up against that. I think we've gone too far, but we still have that rebellious spirit that came along with living a lifestyle that was against God. That's really what this whole situation is. It's against God. Because when I became a Christian, I was shocked, man, that I all of a sudden I liked Ronald Reagan. I was like,
exactly,
Ronald Reagan. I mean, what? Why would I like this guy? And you know, I started having morals. I started having caring about people and caring about myself and my family. And I saw the damage that I did to my life and the people around me. And boy, it humbled me down. And so I had about 7 months on the street before I actually had to go to prison. And in those 7 months, I became a Christian, and I was being discipled, and electrifying conversion, something that I never planned on. And so by the time I got to prison, it was the happiest I ever was in my entire life. Wow. And I was walking around in prison, and people were saying, "Why are you so happy?" I said, "Oh man, you don't know the prison I was in when I was out on the street." And I started to tell them my story. And they'd say, "Wow, you know, you're right. You were in a prison. How could you possibly get out of that lifestyle without either dying?" Which, like, the guy that gave me my start was Jimi Hendrix. He gave me a break back in the middle '60s with the band I was managing. You know, he was dead of an overdose, and Janis Hall was another one I had worked with, and she's dead of an overdose. And so we didn't have these fancy rehabs, brother. We didn't have, you know, there's down in Florida, there's 300 rehabs just in Palm Beach County alone. Yeah. One county has 300. We create a rehab. Now your insurance company will pay. There's probably the success ratio of those rehabs are 0 to 4%. They don't work. Wow. And you have these kids going in and out of these places. They're not going in and out because they really want to get straight. They're going in there because they have insurance. Mommy and daddy has insurance, and they're sticking their opiate-addicted kids because they don't know what else to do with them. Most of the parents have no spiritual life themselves.
Yes.
And so when you start to question them, they start to go, "Well, I have nothing wrong with the problem. My son has the heroin problem. We tried to raise him well." I said, "Well, did you go to church? Did you read the Bible? Is there any spirituality?" Well, why would we need that?
Wow.
We're atheists. We don't, and there's the problem. I mean, and the kid has got all sorts of rejection and bitterness and anger against his family. He doesn't know why. And he was never raised right. And so they wound up throwing him in a rehab. I know kids that have been in 14, 15, 25 rehabs.
Wow.
25 rehabs, and you still didn't get it? What didn't you get? I'm not really ready.
Yeah, Marty.
I find it mind-boggling, man.
Exactly. I agree with you, Marty. And so in our age, we were told that there was a right and a wrong. You either do it or you stop. There's no in between.
Yeah, well,
there seems to be in this era a managing of sin, and I wanted you to talk about that. Are we corrupting our future because we taught our children how to manage sin?
Yeah. Eliminated that word. That word, you bring that word up. I mean, we thought we kicked it out of our vocabulary. I really did. When I became a Christian, and I became a Christian, these men were ministering to me. And they said, "Marty, do you believe you're a sinner?" And that was the first time I ever heard that. I said, "A sinner? What are you talking about?" And they said, "Well, the lifestyle that you lead, you do this, you do that, you're doing drugs, you got trouble. That's sin, Marty. That's called sin." And I said, "No." I said, "I was taught to turn on, tune in, and drop out."
Yes.
That was our mantra. Timothy Leary, the professor of LSD from San Francisco, the most liberal city in the country, that's what we were taught. We were taught to do our own thing. We didn't call it sin. When you identify your problems as sin, there's hope. You have hope.
Mm-hmm.
Sin is our only hope right now, because then you can get forgiveness. You can get cleansed. Your mind can get renewed. You have a whole new life, and that's what I was wanting. And so when they said, "You're a sinner. Would you be willing to repent?" I said, "I don't even know. What are you talking about? What's repent mean?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I didn't know, but I had the cop in, and they explained to me one of the drink them. I said, "I'm looking to go to prison the rest of my life." "Yeah, I think I'll repent if that's what I have to do. If you told me to hang upside down from the ceiling, I would about now, but not when I was living the good life. You see, the Bible says it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle
Yep.
than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. I didn't need God. Who needs God?
Exactly.
God's dead, so my buddy John Lennon told me.
Mm-hmm.
God's not dead. We're more popular than Jesus Christ. Christianity will fade away. That's what John Lennon taught me.
Mm.
Christianity will fade away. We're more popular than Jesus Christ.
Wow.
In a sense, he was. They were. The Beatles really were at that time.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody going to church. There was no evangelism. There really wasn't. Not the way it is today.
Exactly.
So we were lost, man. We were a lost generation. We wouldn't listen to our parents.
Wow.
They didn't know. We were taught in college that our parents didn't know what they were talking about. And there was a generation gap between that generation and our generation. And our parents are just leading us down the road to destruction. And we're going to get in a war. The Russians are going to come and blow us off the face of the earth. And there's absolutely no reason to live. So, we just lived as fast as we could. And when that didn't happen, when Russia didn't happen, when we started to wake up, this is what I'm saying about this generation now, of these kids in college right now. One of these days, they're going to start to wake up.
Yeah.
But, right now, when you're young, oh, it's not going to happen to me. Oh, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm going to do my own thing over here with my college buddies with our black masks on, and we're going to just demonstrate. And we don't even know why we're demonstrating. And guess what? God has spiritual arrows that he points at all of us. And we all have that opportunity to repent. When he shoots one of those arrows at us, we have the opportunity to either curse God and continue in the merry way, or go for God. And what I mean by a spiritual arrow is something that you can't control. I couldn't control the prison situation that I got in. When they handcuffed me and threw me in the back of a police car, I lost my ability to manage my life. Yeah. And so these kids can have the same. Your mother might die, your brother might die, and your marriage might split up, you might lose your job, your kid might get strung out on dope, you don't know what to do, you're at a moment, oh, I'm going to cry out to God. And those are the times in every person's life. And no one is immune to this. This is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I mean, I paid a heavy price to learn this lesson. But when I learned the lesson, I wasn't going to turn back and go back into that old lifestyle, which a lot of people do because they're not serious enough and not want to change enough. They just want a little bit of God. They want God's grace, mercy, and love. But they forget that God's a just God also.
Yes.
You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a Christian or not a Christian. God's not going to play footsie with you. Yeah, he loves you and he'll give you mercy and grace. But he's also going to give you consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So, Christian or not, even more so if you're a Christian and you go out there and you think that you can play footsie with the devil.
See, but Marty,
doesn't work.
You're offensive now. You're telling me that there's a right and a wrong. That's really offensive. I mean, can't we just all get along?
Well, that would be nice. I mean, people have tried that. You know something? I remember going through training when I was working at Teen Challenge that was started by David Wilkerson. It's probably one of the most successful drug rehabilitation. It's not a rehab. It's actually a transformation. It's actually Christianity. And they've had hundreds of facilities throughout the country. And David, who is now passed away, but he taught me, he says, Marty, compassion without wisdom equals pity.
Wow.
You can have compassion, but you got to have wisdom. Well, where do you get wisdom from? You don't get it from watching television or reading the newspaper. And then you get a guy like Noah Webster who wrote the dictionary years ago, and his famous quote is, "Education without the Bible is useless."
Yes.
Think about that one, college kids that are running around with your black masks on. Think about that. You live with that fact. That your education, you think you're so smart, and running around this country, you're thinking, I got my degree, I got my master's degree now in social justice. But you don't know the first thing about the Bible. You don't care about the Bible. You think it's foolish. You're an atheist or an agnostic. Guess what? Education without the Bible is useless. It's going to get you absolutely nowhere.
Exactly.
You might have some money in your pocket, but when your kid starts overdosing, and that's what's happening. 600 kids in Palm Beach County, Florida alone this January have died from opiate overdoses.
Wow.
In one county alone.
Wow.
So I mean, you're not immune to paying consequences for something that you think, oh, it's okay to shoot heroin. Oh, it's okay to smoke cocaine. It's okay to do this. I don't care. You know, my parents said stay away from drugs, just saying no. But boy, this sure feels good. And Johnny over here, he gave me some really nice stuff, and I just love Johnny. Me and Johnny, you know, we're going to be united forever. And then bang, all of a sudden, you're overdose.
See, but you got to understand, Marty, you were different. You were weak. You couldn't take it.
Yeah.
You couldn't handle it.
Right.
You listen,
Right.
I'm young. I'm strong. I can take a hit.
Yeah.
It won't bother me, and I can stop whenever I want, right?
Right, yeah, right. I was told, Marty, you needed Jesus. When I became a Christian, I told all my friends. In fact, my girlfriend at the time, she said, I jog. And I said, what? What do you mean you jog? I said, you're a cocaine addict. You drink a bottle of vodka a day. You smoke pot. You smoke cigarettes. You're on pills. And you tell me I needed Jesus, but you don't? That you jog? but that's the reason. See, I was weak. Marty, you always were. You know, you were a loser. You really, you tried to kill yourself a couple of times. You're out strung out on drugs. I work and I jog and I function. You see, people think that they're functioning because they have they can do a little bit of coke on the weekends or a little this or a little that. But there's no getting away from the long arm of the law and the long arm of God. You reap what you sow. And so the quicker you can find that out, and I'm glad I was weak. I'm glad that God spared my life. I'm glad that he showed me favor in people's eyes once I became a Christian. And then he started to use me. And I've written 9 books. I've traveled the country going in every prison in the United States. I've worked in the biggest ministries that the country has to offer Christianity, trying to help churches understand the problems that are behind all this stuff. There's even churches that won't like to talk about sin.
Marty, what are you talking about? There's no sin in churches. There are no wrong people in churches. That's where all the perfect people are, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, they think that. But then why do their kids overdose? Why do I get calls from some Christian people too saying, I don't know, that Johnny, he was such a good boy. And you got to help him. And no one's immune. Believe me, I started a program in Florida for the Sheriff's Department. It was a beautiful faith-based residential treatment program in a jail. And the sheriff himself, his daughter was a junkie. The judges that were sending people to the program, their kids were dope heads. They're no, because I went to college and I'm a professional doctor, lawyer, or judge, or police officer, that I'm immune. My family's not going to be affected by this. Get your kid to school. Send them to college and see what happens to them. Look what happened to me. And that's all of my friends. Oh, we're going to send our kid to college so he can get a good education. Yes. I came out a screaming radical liberal, on fire student for Democratic Society leader, pushing rock and roll music on people, throwing drugs out to the audience, LSD over the amplifiers of the stage where the band was performing. Just turn on everybody. Woo-hoo, let's go to Woodstock. Yeah, free love, free sex. Yeah? Well, is that right, Marty? And when the cops slammed the handcuffs on me, they said, Marty, the party's over, Marty.
That's
it. We're done for it.
Exactly. We're talking with a former radical liberal who was an entertainment guru and now a Christian conservative who is attempting to save your life and your child's life because you're listening tonight and you know what addiction is. You know that there's something in you that whatever it is, you can't get over it. And you, as much as you fight, you can't stop doing what you want to stop doing. Marty Angelo has gone into prisons and jails, rehab centers, and he's spoken with troubled celebrities. And listen, I know in Hollywood, people speak to individuals who know God for themselves when they're in trouble. And I wanted Marty to come on because we have an absolute crisis in states like West Virginia and North Carolina and Florida, where the number of individuals who are addicted, and we're talking about not just addiction to heroin and all of the other urban drugs that you would come across, but to actual prescription drugs at this particular point. And someone's got to talk with you, someone's got to reach you. And I think right now Marty Angelo is probably one of the best people, and he has a book called One Life Matters, A New Beginning. And I want you, if you could, Marty, if you could advise everyone exactly what One Life Matters means, and why this book should be so important that people do whatever they can to put it in the hand of someone in their church, in their home, in their family, in their work, school, wherever. Put this book in their hands.
Yeah. Well, the title is Once Life Matters.
Yes.
And so you call it One Life Matters, but it's once. So once my life started to matter to me, remember I told you before, nothing mattered to me.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing. And so I had absolutely nothing. And so when I became a Christian, my life started to matter. And so that's why I titled the book Once My Life Matters. Once Life Matters. And a new beginning is the subtitle, meaning that I had this new shot. I had a new beginning. I was born again. I became a Christian. My life started to matter to me. And I started to unravel it takes a while too, you know, so it's not that, to me, it was a flash. It was 3 loud crashes. The thunder, lightning hit this house when these guys laid their hands on me. I was on the floor. I mean, I was converted quickly. And it took me a while to understand what happened to me, right? Mm-hmm. I was one way one day and completely different the next day. And so I didn't know. I went to a Christian bookstore, asked them, what happened to me? Yeah. Because what are you talking about? Sounds like you got born again. And so he started giving me some books on the subject. And so I started to study more and more of what's happening. Well, once that happened, I started to have to stand naked in front of the Bible, you know, spiritually, because I had to undo everything that was taught to me. And then I had to undo all the secularism, just like these kids that are out there thinking, you know, they're going to rehab, so they're believing, even in churches, they're believing that addiction is a disease.
Yes.
And so, and of course, there's the disease, the doctors get paid for it, the insurance companies are paying, and the rehabs are making $1 billion. It's $1 billion operation. And I'm telling you, I've been in some of these rehabs, they couldn't care less if you got better.
Yeah.
They just want your $30,000 a month with the insurance company. And so now you are addicted to drugs, and then you're being lied to on top of it. You've already been lied to by yourself and your drug buddies and your drug dealers, and everybody got your money. And now you're going to a rehab because you're either forced in it by your mother or your father, or your court might have given you a break and sent you one, then to a rehab. And now you're being lied to. See, that makes it even worse. And that's why these kids are dying from it, because they're not being taught the truth. Mm-hmm. The truth is that you're a sinner. And if the sooner you can understand that, and you can repent of your sin, there's hope for you, because the Bible says that the angels in heaven rejoice when a man repents. Yeah. God is happy when you come to him. He's not angry and mad. He's the one that's pulled these strings to try to get your attention, to try to bring you to him. So the quicker you can get on your hands and knees and accept this plan that God has for mankind, the better off we're all going to be. But most people, including a lot of churches, don't want to identify your problem as sin.
Yes.
When Michael Jackson died, no one called the Christian minister to find out what they thought. They called guys like Dr. Drew and Oprah and all these people, lawyers. They had I remember Larry King. I got sent from Larry King by Dr. Drew Pinsky. He had this television show, Celebrity Rehab.
Exactly.
And here they are. Half those people that went on Celebrity Rehab are dead. So much for Dr. Drew Pinsky. And he thinks, oh, well, and he's the, you see him on all these talk shows. He's the big authority on addiction. It's a disease. You've got this terrible disease. You'll have it your whole life. And they found a way to use the English language and twist it and turn it and make it some kind of jargon that they're using as buzzwords. So now you think, I got a disease and I've got to go get my disease treated. Well, first of all, there's no machine, there's no test that can identify the fact that you are an addict.
Mm.
Yeah, you might take a brain scan after you burn some cells out, or your liver might be dried up, or your kidneys might be malfunctioning because of all the drugs and drinking that you've done. But there is not an MRI that you could take, just like if you had cancer and there was a cancer in your lungs. The MRI or the CAT scan or PET scan can show that cancer. There it is. Now let's get some radiation in there and some chemo in there. And let's get that out of there. Try doing that with addiction. Where's the test? You go to your doctor, he says, well, here's these symptoms. I got these symptoms of this. Well, you've got the disease of addiction.
Mm.
You're an addict, and you've got a disease. It's insulting. My father died of Parkinson's disease. My mother died of cancer and heart condition. And if I would have insulted them if I would have said to them, well, I've got this.
Yeah.
No, if you die of an overdose, that's a self-inflicted trouble that you got upon your life. Don't be blaming it on some disease that somebody's trying to sell you a bill of goods, trying to tell you, well, you've got a disease, you come to our rehab and we'll treat you. They treat you in these rehabs with more drugs.
Yeah.
You come out worse than you did when you first went in.
Exactly.
So now you're looking to get high.
Exactly. Giving drugs to manage your sin. It's all about managing sin instead of overcoming it.
Right.
We got to go into just a few, but I want you to come back next month because this is a topic that has been pureed and played with on the edges, and people don't really want to talk about it. But the greatest remedy for all sin is Christ Jesus. How can people get your book in their hands for when you come back next month?
Well, if they want to, they can go to Amazon.com. All of my books are there. That first book I wrote, One Slash Man at the New Beginning, it's been out a while. Yes. I've given away 60,000 copies. I got such a reaction from people in prison. I wrote another book just publishing some of the letters that they sent me. So it's effective. It's helped. But if anybody wants a copy that has someone in prison or in a rehab or troubled, write me through my website, martyangelo.com. My email address is in there. And I'll be glad to send them a book for free. I've done this since it first came out in 2006. And so it's not a new book. I have a second edition, which is even better. It's got more stories in it. It's got more topics that will help. But yeah, just pick one up at Amazon or write me. And if you got a son or daughter, somebody in prison, I'm not going to send you a free one, but to the person that's interested, they do have to pay for them. But I'll send it to somebody that's in trouble because that's when they listen. You should read some of these letters, brother. Yeah. I'll send you a copy of the book, Letters from Prison, Lives That Matter. And it's shocking, some of the letters.
Listen, Marty, I want you to come back.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Listen, I love you, and I want you to come back because you and I both know that the left has infused a great deal of confusion and chaos into healing. And quite frankly, have turned this into an industry of continuance rather than an industry that heals, and only Christ heals. And I want to thank you so much for being on the air with us tonight. Marty Angelo, ladies and gentlemen, he will be back with us next month. But addiction is a problem. It cannot be toyed with Oprah and Dr. Drew and others. This can only be matched or dealt with by the hands of a loving and grateful God. We thank you so much for being with us tonight, sir.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to next time.
All right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know Fox News did a whole week on addictions all day long, and they talked about it. But they pointed you right back to the same things that get you into the same situations. Methadone and all these other things. That hole that you're feeling on the inside can only be filled by a God who so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Addiction is not a disease, it's a sin. And there are ways that you can deal with it and overcome it. I believe it with all of my heart, with all of my soul, with all of my strength. And I'd rather do a show like this where only one person listened who wanted to be healed. I want you to be healed. I want you tonight to pick up the phone or go to martyangelo.com, and I want you to order that book. If you know that you are going through something, you know for a fact you've been lying to yourself, you've been lying to family, you've been lying to friends, you've been cheating yourself of a good life. I'm not talking about the fact that you got $1 million in your bank account. I'm not talking about the fact that you got a nice car or a good job. It's when you get out of that car, before you do it, you got to take a drink. Or you just can't have a good weekend unless you snort or smoke something. God says, I have something better for you. And once your life matters, you'll never go back. Once life matters, a new beginning, get it at martyangelo.com. Send him a letter, send him a note. If you have someone who's in prison right now for this, give them the hope that passes all understanding and the peace that comes with it. That hope is in Christ Jesus and he alone. I thank y'all so much for listening. We'll be right back with more of the best in Urban Conservative Talk on SHR Media Live and the 2 o'clock a.m. Liberty Channel edition to Red Nation Rising. And to all of those who've been watching us via live stream and Ustream, go get the book. I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different. Real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is the popular liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement. Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Rowley, Juan Pablo Andrande, and Ziad Abdel Nuah. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Dinesh D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at freedomfest.com. That's freedomfest.com for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. God bless you. We'll see you there.
Hi, this is Leslie Ann Sophie with The Real Clear Israel. Join me every Sunday morning at 10:05 Eastern Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where we'll be discussing Israel with guests from Israel and around the world.
That's The Real Clear Israel, 10:05 Sunday on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We have a brand new show on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We are bound to make you think. We are bound to make you see things differently. We are bound to push you into action for not only your community, but your country. That's the Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. See you there. Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon and you're Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Power brokers use corrupt politicians, deceptive Islam, and lies from establishment media to turn the once shining city on a hill into the city of the blind. What do the elites fear? One man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me at SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Spreaker, iTunes, and YouTube for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. I want to thank Marty Angelo for coming on earlier. We were talking about addictions. We were talking about drug addiction. We were talking about recovery, healing, and the grace of the living God. I'm telling you, MartyAngelo.com. Go there, get the free book, Once Life Matters. Get it. Give it to your brother, your sister who's in prison right now. Their healing is all that matters. It's all that matters. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that we'll be going over in the next second hour of our program, and we will be speaking with Janis Hall, the J Hall World Report. Love you, Claudia. Glad to have you here. And we'll be talking about a number of issues. But I also want to thank the good people of Erie, Pennsylvania, who brought an end to a monster who destroyed the life of Robert Goodwin. And as prophesied by the Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin, who will be appearing at 11 p.m. Eastern Time on SHR Media, that he would be found with a shot to the head. That's exactly how he was found. He lived as a coward. He loved as a coward. It appears that he was raised to be a coward. And he died a coward. We'll be back right after these messages.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. You are listening to The Exceptional Conservative. For more information, go.
We're not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican, and then the socialist. TECS, the Exceptional Conservative Show. We got our own thing, baby. Come to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com and join me for the best in urban conservative talk.
There are only two things you should be doing weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and one of them is legal in 58 states. So do the other one. Listen live to The Exceptional Conservative Show with Ken McClinton, Monday through Wednesday at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time on SHR Media and at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. The Exceptional Conservative Show, bringing the sexy back to late night conservative talk.
Come on, Mr. Nunez, say it ain't so.
Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, Representative Devin Nunez, please step out of the politically correct parallel universe you've gotten stuck in. Your Ventus Americanos apologeticus decision to temporarily step aside as head of the Russian probe pending the outcome of an outlandish, progressive-oriented ethics investigation? Sir, I know you said, quote, is in the best interest of the House Intelligence Committee and the Congress, unquote. But that makes about as much sense as saying that the Chucky Schumers of the world, Nasty Pelosi, and even Governor Snyder of Michigan have good intentions regarding America because those progressive globalists do not. Mr. Nunez, your clear and precise investigation had the crooked progressive Democrats shaking in their crappy boots. Oh, I understand that several left-wing activist groups have filed accusations against you with the Office of Congressional Ethics. It was done to prevent the American people from getting the whole truth about improper unmasking of the identities of U.S. citizens and other abuses of power. Such typical Republican style of rolling over and caving into the whims of deviant progressives is both stupid and dangerous for the Republic. I'm Ron Edwards.
Shekinah Ranch is involved in helping youth through the snags along the pathway to adulthood. The last 8 years have created greater challenges. Having a president to parade perversion to our youth has generated the need for us to ramp up our character learning 100-fold. Today's youth are confused. Our goal is to give them a fresh understanding of creation, moral clarity, respect for authority. In short, restore absolutes and boundaries. Boys are born boys and girls are born girls. God's design. Right is right even when no one else is doing it. The Exceptional Conservative Network is underway to raise $10,000 to help advance this mission. Together, let's reverse the confusion aimed at our youth. Don't be a spectator. Go to our donation portal and make your financial contribution, and do it now. Your gift goes towards helping youth get clarity, moral clarity. Thank you.
Money Talk with Melanie is a lively discussion of global, domestic, and kitchen table financial topics. Join the business diva and her esteemed guest, comprised of entrepreneurs, CEOs, authors, and politicians, as they explore the topics of the day. That's Money Talk with Melanie, here on TECN, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Dig it, baby. Yeah. It is Tuesday night. You know what Tuesday night is, ladies and gentlemen. Dig it, baby. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, choose tonight. Oh, I love it, man. I love it. I love jazz music. I really do. Cool fusion jazz, that is. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, Janis Hall will be joining us, J Hall World Report. Um, it is so good to have so many great women in the chat role this evening. Of course, Mary Brockman, who is the bouncer in chief, bouncer extraordinaire, she is. I love dearly. And of course, the beautiful Claudia and the beautiful Melanie. So glad to have them there. And what a way of rounding out the house here. I'm not too certain Perry Drake's really alive or at least awake. So, you know, but he's in the chat room. Money Talk doesn't promote itself. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to do something here. I need to do something because this is official. This is my notice to Claudia, to Mary, and everybody else. I no longer want the beautiful Melanie Collette to promote, you know, TECS with the TECN page. No, I want y'all to take a look at her page. Her page is decked out. The Business Diva, I am telling you right now, if you want business, first and foremost, she has a state-of-the-art stock screener. I'm telling you, a serious state-of-the-art stock screener, which gives you relative strength, gives you volume notification in terms of whether sales are going, volume sales of the stock are going high or low. It gives you price points. She's got all that in a bag of chips up in that little graph thing. You can type in whatever stock you want. It'll pop up the stock and tell you what the 52-week moving average is. It is the bomb to the diggity. If you have investments, you need to be up in that camp. I'm serious with all expression. Then she has Investors Business Daily, editorials, politics, investing, technology, and a few others. I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that is the site that you want to go to 24 hours, 7 days a week for business. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, Melanie Collette, as much as she is a part of TECS and the TECN family, smooches, love you, smooches, love you. She's got her own thing. Do we got that clip? Do we got that? We got our own thing? Heavy D, kick it, man. We're not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican, and then the socialist. TECS, the Exceptional Conservative Show, we got our own thing, baby. Come to the exceptionalconservativeshow.com and join me for the best in urban conservative talk. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I am telling you, well, TECS has its own thing. TECN.biz has its own thing now. And I'm telling you, that's where you want to go. You can get Melanie, and we are recruiting other great business minds to come under Melanie. Melanie is the president. She is the first brown, I have to go brown because she won't let me say black, brown woman ever to be the head of a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week business network. This is her starting block. Congratulations to you, Melanie. But this is where we're promoting her from now on, TECN.biz. She'll still have the page on TECS, the exceptionalconservativeshow.com. She'll still have that. But, that, baby, if you want business news, that's where you go. And we're not through with it yet. We ain't just getting started. We ain't through with it yet. Ain't through with it yet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what's coming up. And I love this particular segment more and more every time she comes on. She is ahead of everyone else. And we love her for that. Janis Hall, the J Hall World Report, coming up now. Let's see. I hope I got that. All right, good. Here we go. Give her a call. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. For those of you following along home, it's 1010 on the Exceptional Conservative Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Janis Hall.
Hello.
Good evening, Janis. It is such a pleasure to talk with you this evening.
It's fun to talk to you too.
Excellent. Happy Resurrection. Happy Easter to you. I hope that you had a wonderful. Did you go out and get any eggs?
I didn't get eggs, but I did have a very good and long Easter.
Awesome. Awesome. Did you have any ham or anything like that? None of that. You were just able to rest and relax.
No, I did. I had a couple. Actually, I had a couple different kinds of ham. I had a couple different kinds of lamb.
Woo!
It was, yeah.
Woo! That's good eating.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I'm kind of fatherly to you. You know, and you know how fathers are really obnoxious about asking you to do stuff.
Sure, they are.
You're not supposed to agree. You have to say, "Oh no." I still don't hear any disagreement. But you know, I have really been prodding you now, pushing you, encouraging. Well, that's not use prodding and pushing. Encouraging you to consider going to Las Vegas for Freedom Fest. And you know, I'm not a pushy kind of guy, am I?
No.
Oh my God!
You make strong suggestions.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I like to give strong suggestions. I'm a suggester. So yeah, I think I created a new word. So are you considering going to Freedom Fest this year, 2017, out in Vegas?
I am considering it.
Yes.
I think I'm actually probably will go. I just have to, you know, make that final commitment and decision.
Okay. This is where Dad is. Okay, you're considering it. See, that's what you're considering it. See, yeah. Now what Dad just heard when a daughter says considering it, he's already mapping out plans of what you're doing in Vegas. See.
Yeah. That's okay.
I know it's problematic, but that's okay. Janis, is going to be great having you there in Vegas. You are going to be adored there. People love you, and they appreciate all that you have done with keeping us abreast of foreign policy issues here in Washington, D.C. and around the world. And you were one of the first to break the issue regarding the South China Sea. You were one of the first to break the issue regarding Venezuela, going straight to the pit of hell. And so I ask you tonight on this particular program, has Venezuela changed its actual pursuit of hell?
No. I mean, they're trying, right? They're trying.
See,
yeah. So the situation is still terrible. All right, they're still on the road to hell, as you put it. They are going to have a march coming up tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be big. I'm sure it'll be well attended. I'm sure that they will make a very powerful statement, which is all grand and good.
Mm-hmm.
But Maduro still has control. The dictator is still in control.
Yeah.
And so far, the military is still reporting to him. And generally, the government is still reporting to him. So, while, yes, it is good that people are definitely voicing their opposition, and they certainly do need to, I think it's still a little ways away from actually, I guess, apparently hitting rock bottom and to come back up.
Exactly. What's taking so long? I mean, they don't have any money. What's taking so long? It's amazing to me. It really is.
I sort of get the sense from Venezuela that they're trying to do it in a very they tried to be civilized about it, right? They tried to have elections. They tried to have, basically like a recall or referendum. They tried to do a lot of different things, all generally within the law to make something happen, right? To get Maduro to leave. And in typical dictator fashion, he is still there.
Yeah.
And so I think that sometimes when solutions cannot necessarily always be solved within the confines of polite society and the law.
Yeah.
Most things can, but not everything.
Not everything. Of course, yeah. It's just it's troubling me, Janis, that you have all these hanger-ons, and I know, gosh, I know that they are working towards one party rule there, and like they didn't have it before, but they're moving towards the army taking over in a kind of sort of fashion.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that they've hung on so long and they haven't learned their lesson yet about socialism. It befuddles the mind. How can you possibly not get this clue that no matter what you do, it doesn't change the outcome? You're going to be broke, busted, and disgusted.
I would probably say that most of them realize socialism doesn't work. And it's not really about socialism anymore. It's just about power. And regardless of if socialism works or not, Maduro has power, and he's not going to give it up. So yeah, socialism put them in this position, but socialism isn't what's keeping them there.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking with Janis Hall, J Hall World Report. Venezuela is a plight unto itself. It is just simply amazing that it's kind of like when you see that broken down car making its way up the hill as you're passing it, and you just wonder, how did they make it this far? And I wonder that every single night. How do they make it this far? There's so many things that are happening in Venezuela that just tells you that they're moments away from being a part of a coup. And like Janis says, it's not socialism. It's really at a point now where people are convening as much power as they can, and there are a lot of people who are about to be hurt in this particular process if a military coup were to take place. Am I right about that?
That's likely. Most coups don't go. Well, I mean, it just depends on how it goes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, it depends on what side of the military you're on, like in Turkey. Yeah.
Right. And if it's successful or not. Right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
So yeah, I'm still waiting. You're still waiting. The world is still waiting to see when Venezuela will turn around. And I don't even think we really know how that's even going to happen yet. Yes, there's the military. There could be a coup. It's possible you could have just citizen uprising. Hard to say. Very hard to say right now. Everybody still seems to be, for the most part, behaving civilly.
Yeah. That's
in
weird.
a very uncivilized situation.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just so weird. It's like watching somebody run the 50-yard dash in slow motion. It's just weird. It's really, really discomforting. Speaking of discomforting and dictatorships, you were right about Turkey. Wow. Didn't see that one coming. Apparently Erdogan, however way you wish to say his name, has ascertained virtual complete control over judicial, legislative, and presidential branches of government in Turkey. He has an extension of presidential powers, and he got a phone call from somebody. Can you tell us all about that?
I can.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Erdogan is taking one more step on the road to dictatorship. He has basically given himself more power through the guise of an election.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to think, though, that, let's be honest, did anybody really think that it wasn't going to pass?
No, I didn't.
So.
I didn't. I'm shocked.
How do I not believe you?
I'm absolutely appalled.
Yeah. Never thought that would happen, right?
Never saw it coming. Never.
Yeah. So, after his victory, Trump decided to give him a call. And naturally, everybody's a little bit up in arms about it. I mean, obviously, one side is upset about everything Trump does, so there's that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a perpetual problem.
Yeah.
So, but there's still a lot of people that think that calling him and essentially congratulating him on getting more power and continuing on his path to a greater dictatorship in Turkey basically sends the wrong message and that what he did was okay. And I do completely understand that point, and I don't think that what he did was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And however, I will say that I don't personally think that there's a good enough reason not to have a call or not to talk with Erdogan currently. I mean, as bad as he is, and as bad as he potentially, could be, we'll say, we certainly do business with a lot of unsavory characters.
Mm-hmm.
And Erdogan certainly isn't yet at the top of that list.
Really? Mr.
Amazingly, no.
Oh, Mr. Sell 'em high, sell 'em low. I mean, oh my God! What he's done with the immigrants coming from Syria is a gas. He's working with ISIS to get oil into Turkey. I mean, come on! This dude is like, he's like the.
Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
He's a criminal. But he's a part of NATO, and we're supposed to love him, right?
Supposedly. Now, I do think that's a different question. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Turkey should generally be in NATO.
Thank you.
So there's that. But he still technically is. It's kind of one of those things of it's still a law. So a judge should still continue to uphold the law until the legislature actually goes in and fix it. Turkey is still a member of NATO. And so I think that it's okay to, still be on, if not friendly terms, at least on speaking terms.
So so what Donald Trump is doing is endorsing dictatorship, right? Is that what that phone call is all about? And welcoming him to the club of dictators, future leader of the UN. Can I look at it that way, or am I being a little bit more cynical than I need be?
I mean, yes, you can look at it that way. I don't want to ascribe that much weight to it, I guess. I think that the situation in Turkey is not ideal. Erdogan shouldn't be there. He shouldn't have gotten more power. He shouldn't be turning Turkey into a dictatorship. He shouldn't be being just a pain in general to us and Europe. So he shouldn't be doing all of these things. However, I think that it is still important to be on
Also,
speaking terms.
we have to be on.
And
yeah, okay. Because he's in NATO, we have to be on speaking terms. Will we be on speaking terms with him if he was not in NATO?
we would probably be on speaking terms, but maybe not on speed dial terms.
So
yeah.
NATO is our problem.
To some degree, yes. And yes. And I will say that also to some degree that it's sort of a polite thing to do, I'll say. Okay. I mean, let's be honest, not very many European leaders were all that thrilled about Trump winning.
Well, yeah. But I don't know. I'm not trying to side with the liberals because I know what the liberals say. The liberals are basically anything Trump does destroys the world, and we should impeach him now and get him out of office. If he went to the bathroom today, we have to impeach him. So that's the way they are. I'm not like that, but I just find it a conundrum to have a dictator a part of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Especially if anything happens with Turkey, we must side with them in war. And I just find that so problematic with a dictator, because you never know which way his whim will be, versus a government that has to answer, the executive who has to answer to the parliament in NATO. I mean, in Europe, forgive me, but I'm queasy here, if I can use the term.
I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think that NATO does need to be kind of reorganized. I think that Turkey should not be in NATO. I think that they were practical for the purposes of dealing with the Soviet Union, but the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore, and we're now dealing with other threats. And Turkey has definitely not behaved like an ally in that regard. Mm-hmm. And I think that while it's acceptable, I think, to be polite, which is what I believe this call was, mm-hmm. I still think that we should be looking at ways to make ourselves less invested in Turkey.
I'm looking at the chat roll, and Claudia is on my mindset right here. She's asking, is Turkey a nuclear power player? And White Mamba saying that diplomatic acknowledgement, hopefully nothing more. Erdogan is going to be a big pain in the butt soon enough, and will likely be the Islamic Republic of Turkey soon enough. That never helps matters at all. Turkey is now a real Turkey. There you to corner phrase.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong. I mean, and I guess to your point of Erdogan being a dictator, yes. But I would be concerned about Turkey and the way it's been going in its policies, regardless of this was a dictator or not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, just the fact that they are essentially becoming more Islamic, that they are using immigrants as a way to pressure Europe, just everything generally, regardless of it's being done by one person or, more democratically, it's all still a problem.
Yeah, because I'm not comfortable with people saying I democratically chose a dictator. I don't, it's kind of like I chose ISIS to be the party that lives in my apartment building. I didn't choose that. You're basically given a choice between your freedom being taken from you and someone else coalescing power around you. Is there any hope that particular vote could be overturned, or are we just stuck now with Erdogan?
There have been calls for it to be looked at. We know that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Or at least we know that it's not going to be overturned. Mm-hmm. It might not be looked at, but I'm sure that they'll just, confirm that Erdogan won, right?
Rubber stamp that thing through. There you go. Oh boy. Okay. I gotta get comfortable with him. I guess I don't feel comfortable, but I gotta act like I am.
Well, I'll say one more thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that we have to act comfortable with them.
Okay.
There's a difference between being polite and being friendly.
Yes.
And while I think that Trump's call is polite, I do think that we need to be less friendly with them.
I just think they're dangerous. I really do.
It could very well be.
Yeah. We are so celebrating. Because we already know how the election's going to end on Saturday in France, right?
Sure we will.
Because we are actually doing what the Russians did to us. We are meddling in the election. Janis and I are meddling in the elections in France. And our hopes are Marie Le Pen will be Prime Minister of France or President of France. Is that going to happen?
Well, we're not going to know this weekend exactly. What we will know is generally who are going to be the top two contenders. And it seems like all the polls suggest that Marie Le Pen will be one of them, which we're both happy about. But it's still, I think, kind of a toss-up to who the other person's going to be. There's a lot of people in this horse race right now. There's people on the right, and there's people on the left. There's a conventional person or two. But it'll be interesting to watch. I think that it's not unlike the election that we just had with Clinton and Trump, and where you have one person that's kind of the same as always, and you have another person who's let's just shake everything up. So it'll be interesting to see what way they go. And I do think that it is very challenging to get a sense of what the French think about a lot of these things.
Yeah.
We're told, oh, they love the EU, oh, they're fine with immigration. But we're told all of these things, right? That's the party line. But we don't really know. And yeah, we assume that there has to be some unhappiness with the way things are going.
Yeah.
But there really hasn't been any solid evidence or proof to that. So this election, I think, is going to be kind of a good way to see where the French people stand on things.
Yeah.
And I think that, from there, then we'll, probably be able to make more, we're able to figure out things maybe a little bit better.
A whole lot better. And that's one of the problems with the liberal media here. We're talking with Janis Hall, J. Hall World Report. The way they're reporting it is that Marie Le Pen is a communist dictator who wants to take over France and destroy freedom and liberty for all of the Islamists who have moved into that fair country. That she is racist, homophobic, Islamophobic, you name the phobia, she's got it. And quite frankly, would be a disaster to the European Union. And so that's what's being reported here. But what's not being reported is that a lot of people in France, just like in Germany, which we're all praying for Merkel's success, right? No. That quite frankly, we have a situation now in France. Well, not just now, but a continuance with the Islamic culture. Can you tell us all about that? Here we go again.
I mean, do you have enough time? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It, yeah. There's so many problems in Europe right now. Just so many. They have the EU problem. They have the economic problem that unless you're Germany, you're basically in trouble.
Yep.
They have the Islamic problem, which is probably one of the most significant because that one basically kind of feeds into everything else. And actually, I think they both feed off of each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the economics and Islam. So I think, and I would say this is what I said with the Dutch elections a few weeks ago, is that even hypothetically Marie Le Pen doesn't win, right?
Yeah.
And it's possible she doesn't. I'm not going to say that, it's absolutely going to happen. That doesn't mean that in 2, 3, 4, 10 years that the French aren't going to be even more angry than they are now. I think that there's sort of been a tendency in the media to say, oh, well, we have rejected this populist movement, which is basically what they did after the Dutch election.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, they did right now, but things change. And I think that the trend is definitely one that is becoming, more anti-EU, less, less interested in having, Islam in the region. And that I think is going to continue regardless of who is elected. I think that you can go out there and say, yes, this person who is, we'll say, pro-immigration, pro-EU, and you can put that face on it, right?
Yeah.
But there's still a huge undercurrent of anger and frustration. And that isn't going to go anywhere no matter how much you pretend and publicly say that it doesn't exist.
Exactly. We virtually know that if France is real about Mohammedanism, radical Mohammedanism, however way you wish to say it, if they're really real, Marie Le Pen is the president when the vote's finished. If they're not, good luck, France. Hopefully you'll survive the next invasion by the Moors. Janis, we love you deeply. We thank God for you being on our program. I am so excited about you potentially going to Freedom Fest out in Vegas. And I will make certain that I chaperone you everywhere. How about that?
Okay. Chaperoning?
You can feel the joy, can't you?
Oh. I mean, you know me. I'm such a wild child.
The streets will not be safe with Janis in town. God bless you, Janis. I'll talk with you real soon.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Janis Hall, the J Hall World Report. I tell you, there is so much more to talk about. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about the future of TECN. It's about time I talk with you all about that. I know that there are things that you want me to throw some meat patties at you and blah 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 about the liberals out in Berkeley, but I really need to talk with you all tonight, and I thank God for each and every one of you. We'll be right back with more of the best right after these messages.
Hi, my name is Christopher Arnold. I'm the executive chef of the Fuse Restaurant, and today I'm going to walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. We're making a pizza. We use fresh Italian sausage that we cook here and slice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredients. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and a Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our famous blackened tilapia and grits, our fish and grits on the menu. Once the fish is ready, then our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused beef burgers. We kick the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce. We start off with the CDCR Office of USDA round chuck ham patty burgers, like half a pound of burgers, and we're going to grill it to perfection. After I flip the burger, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat just a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to go. You want to go and get the exceptional one. It is a huge burger. It really is. It's the size of my head. I've had people witness me eat it, one of which happens to be none other than the business diva herself, Money Talk with Melanie Collette. And you all watched me one night as I ate one right before your very eyes, and thank you for your patience in watching me do that. It took a while. But definitely, if you're not a meat eater, if you're vegan, you still can eat there. They got wonderful food, a great assortment of choices, and a great atmosphere. A wonderful place for brunch, for lunch, or for dinner. Infused Restaurant, 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland.
Thank you for the taking the call. And I really enjoy ICRN, your station, the station I listen to all day.
Okay, thanks, Dominique, for that.
Meet Jason. He was really excited to start growing his business with social media until he realized how complex and time-consuming social media can be. It's difficult to manage multiple social networks and accounts. It's hard to monitor what's happening on social media, follow discussions, and engage with new followers. It's time-consuming to publish updates throughout the day, track and analyze how effective posts are, respond to fans and followers in a timely manner, and gain new customers. The list seems to go on and on. Jason quickly becomes discouraged. How could he ever do all of this and still run a business? He was ready to give up on social media until he found eClincher, the easiest way to manage social media. Jason was amazed how straightforward and simple it is to use eClincher. With eClincher, Jason is now able to leverage the power of social media without having to dedicate several hours a day. He can easily organize all his social media accounts in one place, efficiently plan and schedule his posts ahead of time, engage with his followers, understand the effectiveness of his efforts with powerful analytics, find new customers, and much more. In order to tell your business's story, simplify the process of managing your social media, and analyze results, Sign up with eClincher today.
Now, at Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Begin your mornings the right way with some right thinking from me, Perry Drake, your friendly neighborhood drive-by pundit. I want you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Central Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. From politics to pop culture to relationships to whatever else is on your mind, we have a great deal to talk about. Join in and let's get the talking started. Begin your mornings the right way.
Christianity, conservatism, the Constitution, capitalism. Our amazing hosts at the Exceptional Conservative Network broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com right now. Join us in chat by clicking on the TECS tab, Bible Study tab, or TECN tabs. TECN, spreading the good news to the ends of the earth. We'll be back after these messages.
It's a love story like no other. From God's heart to yours. And for 30 years, it's been at the heart of every book, Bible, CD, gift, and resource from ChristianBook.com. Over 500,000 products, always at the very best value. ChristianBook.com. Everything Christian, because it's our story too.
Shooby-doo, wow, wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you just gotta kick back and relax and chill. Nothing does that for me like jazz music or jazz fusion. I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show. We are live for the nation's capital. That's Washington, D.C. to you and me. You have reached that point of our programming. There are no more commercials. There are no more promos. I'm not playing anything else. I know I'm going to get a legal cease and desist order from White Mamba because, quite frankly, Dave's not here. But I did forget to play Melanie's voice. You know, if it happens in the chat room, if I get some type of legal stuff, I will play that promo, even though we are past the time period of playing promos. I want to keep the clients happy. That's all. I don't want any litigation. Don't want any issues or problems. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I want you all to understand that there is a significant misunderstanding. Left out 1 ounce of beer. I want you all to understand. Wait a minute. You know what? I am not going to risk it. I refuse it. I am frightened by litigation, apparently. Let me go ahead and do this. Ladies and gentlemen, for all of you who understand what this segment is, this is that point of the program where I'm going to tell you all to get your cigarettes, go to the front porch, light them up. It's Melanie's commercial.
Money Talk with Melanie is a lively discussion of global, domestic, and kitchen table financial topics. Join your business diva, Melanie Collette, as I speak with respected entrepreneurs, CEOs, authors, and politicians as we explore today's fiscal environment. Money Talk with Melanie airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Remember, this is important because it's your money.
Mary Brockman in the chat room tells me next time play it before the disclaimer. There you go. I love my Mary. I love my Mary. And Melanie is in there saying, for shame, you really do not need to. Good Lord. Oh. Dave, if Dave was here, boy, I would hurt. Mamba isn't there. Oh my goodness, I played it and Mamba wasn't in the room. If I only known, I would have skipped it and kept going. Ladies and gentlemen, there's some people that believe that if an Islamist, a Mohammedan, kills 3 people after shouting Allah Akbar, that's not terrorism. That is merely a hate crime. The last time I looked, not too many Christians were committing this kind of hate crime.
47 Eyewitness News begins with breaking news. As he was taken into custody, he yelled out, Ali Akbar.
Those are the words the suspect accused of shooting and killing 3 people in Fresno this morning. Was this an act of terrorism? We continue to follow breaking news tonight. 3 men are dead and a suspect is now in custody. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning us in. I'm Ken Malloy.
And I'm Catherine Herr. The man who was in custody was already being sought by police. The first shots were reported at 10:45 this morning near Van Ness and Mildreda, just north of downtown Fresno. Seconds later, more shots a block away on Fulton Street, soon followed by more gunfire at Catholic Charities, also on Fulton. And a victim arrived at Fresno Police Headquarters right around that same time. The suspect is identified as 39-year-old Corey Ali Muhammad. He is also the suspect in the murder last week of a security guard at Motel 6 in North Fresno. 3 men were killed in the shootings this morning, including a PG&E employee, and his partner immediately rushed to the Fresno Police Department to get help.
We have live team coverage tonight. CBS 47's Dennis Valera is standing by live in Fresno, but we begin with CBS 47's Gregory Woods, who was at police headquarters when that PG&E work truck pulled up with one of the victims inside. Gregory, you were an eyewitness as this unfolded.
Well, listen, I was inside the police station waiting for an interview in regards to the Motel 6 slaying of a security guard. All of a sudden, a police officer yelled there was a shooting and ran outside. What you're about to see is everything that happened next.
Okay, back up, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Police try to get control of a crime scene, which developed Tuesday morning in front of their headquarters in downtown Fresno.
It's crazy. Everything's blocked off.
Our cameras was recording as a PG&E truck pulls up to the front of headquarters. The windows are shot out. The passenger in the vehicle, a PG&E employee, who was shot and killed just blocks away. The driver was not hit.
Driver of that vehicle ran up to headquarters and notified individuals that his passenger had been shot.
About an hour later, our cameras captured video of the man believed to be responsible. Police say 39-year-old Corey Ali Muhammad killed the PG&E worker and 2 others downtown, just minutes apart. They tell us Muhammad is also the gunman who killed a security guard outside a Motel 6 Thursday night.
As he was taken into custody, he yelled out, Ali Akbar.
Chief Dyer says he's unsure if Muhammad is a part of any terrorist group.
It's really scary.
Katrina Tapia works downtown. She says it's an area that's become unsafe.
Not safe at all anymore, even though you're so close to the police station.
As ambulance arrived on scene to pick up the body in the PG&E car, Tapia sent her prayers.
My heart goes out to the family. This is so unacceptable. I mean, God, it's just really sad. I'm so really sad.
Dyer says the investigation will not only include his department, but also the feds to look into Muhammad's relation to any terrorist group.
And I'm certain that they're going to be very interested in this case.
Now, Chief Dyer says Muhammad will face charges that include 4 counts of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Reporting downtown, Gregory Woods, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Gregory, quick question. You mentioned you were at the headquarters for another story. What was it like when this tragic scene unfolded right in front of you?
Well, listen, we're always at scenes where crime is happening, but never when you're inside of the police station. At first, it was confusion. Then we came outside, and next thing you know, you see the yellow tape going up. Folks were coming outside with their cameras. The fire department arrived. The ambulance arrived. And after a while, you start shooting, you start to see what's going on. Once I seen the yellow tarp go over the PG&E car, I knew today for Fresno was going to be a very sad day. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Gregory Woods, live at Fresno Police Headquarters. And PG&E released a statement on today's events. It reads in part, quote, "Our hearts are very heavy today as we have lost a member of our PG&E family. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family of our employee and all those impacted by this tragic event."
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to just query you. We went through 8 years where if someone yelled out Ali Akbar, we thought they meant salad bar. It could not possibly hate Americans for Christianity, conservatism, constitutionalism, and capital. They couldn't possibly hate us. Maybe this is workplace violence. It's got to be something like there could not possibly be any connectivity between the Twin Towers and Conan Muhammad blowing some people away after yelling Ali Akbar. Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to understand something here. We do have a disease, and it's not an addiction. We have a disease called liberalism. It strikes individuals in their youth, and quite frankly, makes one believe that they are friends to the world. That there is no evil in the world. That there is no point by which violence meted out should be greeted with self-defense. But after knowing that Stevie Steve, and I want to thank BZ personally for his prophecy last night that he will probably be found with a bullet to his head. You're absolutely right, he was. Stevie Steve, after killing Robert Goodwin. On this particular day, the Monday following the dramatic killing on Easter Sunday, which was followed at the Passover bombing of Coptic Christians in Egypt. Apparently, there is no relationship between any of this. I don't know what you take me to be. I presume a fool because I am slow to reason. But I want you to understand that every single day I am more strengthened with the fact that Americans are beginning to see that while we have been fundamentally transformed over 8 years of Obama, and we have left the defense of ourselves to the state, it is time for us to reform and elatedly eradicate the transformation and to protect ourselves from those who have want of nothing but evil, death, and destruction. Now, I don't know if Conan Muhammad spent any time overseas in Afghanistan training, or maybe just didn't enjoy the fact that there were a couple of little kids going to a Catholic church for Bible study. But I do know this. There is a war at foot. And that's a war against Islam and the rest of the world. The sooner we admit it, the better we know our enemy, and the more easily we'll be able to defeat them. If you don't get anything else I said tonight, I hope that you get this. We're not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first of the Republican and then the socialists. Remember always, God bless America. It's time for America to bless God. Good night and God bless. Stay tuned. 11 p.m. It's BZ. Whoop whoop!